Let's open up Orko from the Masters of the Universe Origins line. We'll talk about Orko as the character and we'll just check out this figure. It's not on my old checklist of He-Man figures I always dreamed of having, but he's still a really major character on the show and just in Masters of the Universe in general. So let's open him. Oh, we got an unpunched card here. Well, there's really only one thing to do with this. Oh, man. So this is kind of the wave 2 of sorts, where you had more He-Man Skeletors to help, make sure there's plenty of those. We'll get to some of these other characters later. I think if you open it from the bottom, or so I've heard, it's a little easier. He is strapped in. First of all, we finally get a new mini-comic from all the Wave 1 that all came with the same one. Looks like there's some sort of evil copy of Orko. Of course, this is the US release, so there's all the dialogue. I can't believe some of the international release, they just skip the dialogue, especially in countries where English is the language there. I don't know why you wouldn't just release this one there, and then maybe countries without English, since you didn't want to put up with the translating, you just release the one without. It's cool that they made the stories able to be understood without dialogue, but why leave out the dialogue in countries that speak English if they're in English? I don't understand. So Orko's going to come with this really huge, but really nice looking base for his float stand here. The bigger end going down in there, snapping right in place. You can kind of pose him in the air instead of just being on the ground. So we'll check out the stand here in a bit. We got Orko himself, which again, I never had the original figures, but right off the bat, I'm pretty sure the original figure had a removable hat, and here we just have Orko's head is this piece. You can see the ears are just part of the hat, so that's not going to come off. Of course, it did always just kind of look goofy anyway when he just had this blacked out face, but still the blue ears on the old one, but it was kind of a cool feature that it was removable at least. That's always Orko's mystery, is what he looks like under the kind of maskings here. There were episodes about his origins and his place where kind of explain the keeping your face hidden thing. I'm sure it was something like going off of Star Wars with the Jawas, where you could never really see their face, just their glowing eyes. I'm sure that was inspiration for this character and things. Here's where the stand will go. Of course, the old one just had basic up and down movement. These are real tiny arms, but they still do have elbow joint, but he's kind of got his robe kind of aspect to it, so it doesn't have a ton of motion just because it's the way it's shaped to be like his wizard robe. But the wrist has that movement also. And his hands are open that he could hold something. I mean, the old one wouldn't have been able to hold any accessories. He might find something to get a hold of. We need to get him a huge gun. That's what I want to have. Orko's just not playing around anymore. He's just... I did always like his hidden look and stuff. It was kind of cool. Probably wouldn't have been as cool if you could see his face, because he probably is just some sort of troll-like creature underneath. There's a few pictures of supposed possible ways he would look, but nothing really canon, I don't think. What's weird about this figure is the hat is a different color than his robe, and I think in the cartoon he just had the same color, so I don't know what the orange hat is exactly. I'm not sure if Orko was really featured that much in the comic books and things. I mean, even here, his hat looks a little bit different tint, but is a lot darker than this very, very light orange here, so that's a little strange, because I am trying to collect these more representing the cartoon, even though they are clearly just of the appearance of the original figures. But again, they're still taking liberties, like a new face for He-Man and Prince Adam, and the non-removable hat here, and a mustache on Man-at-Arms, and all these changes. I don't know why they went with the orange hat instead of the matching red. But he has such a great shape to him, you can just instantly tell it's Orko, even with a very strange color choice. Let's check out the stand. I don't know why they need it to be so big, and that's going to help him from tipping over, but he's pretty light, so I don't know what the fear was. I mean, here you can have him in the air at least, but he's going to take up a big footprint on the ground of your collection this way. Nobody's going to be able to stand close to him, because they're going to be up on this stand if they do. So I think they went a little overboard with the size there. I will say in general, all the stands so far that have come with this Origins line have been super high quality and solid. And I know the original Orko came with some sort of discs with different characters on it. If there was something you could do with those, something about a magic trick, because this one does not have those. Orko's kind of a weird figure to make because he's not, you know, one of the Masters of the Universe, like the fighters and things with different weapons and gimmicks and abilities and weapons. Definitely more of a comical character, but as far as that goes, I kind of go with the look at his backstory about, you know, his magic is powerful in the dimension he's from, and not very much so in Eternia, but since there's so many more bad guys and things in Eternia, he chooses to stay there and help fight that, even though his powers aren't as strong there. So to leave where you're powerful, to leave the place where your magic is the most powerful, you know, I mean, it's pretty brave of him to kind of go off where it's more dangerous, needs more help, that way than just staying where he is, you know, considered stronger with his magic. I guess you can kind of do a lot of leaning and things with the stand, but again, that's taking up this footprint, like behind him or in front of him when you do that, but he does stay in place really well, so I guess they were probably doing something like that in mind, that they didn't make the base smaller. So it's got its goods and its bads on that one, but the other thing I'd say, Orko's pretty big here, really. I don't think he was that huge in the cartoon. He would have been a lot smaller, I think, really, but I think they just made him big to be a full-size character in the packaging, more so just for looking like a valuable character and not have to make him a pack-in, but they could have easily done that, just made him, you know, with a vehicle or another character or something, but I don't know why. But he got his own release like this. I know the original one, even though I didn't have it, I had a feature, you know, he kind of had a mechanism inside his body and you'd pull a ripcord and he would kind of move around on its own, so I think that would probably help the original character sell, just that it would be a fun gimmick and function to have, you know, that the other characters wouldn't have a self-moving function like that, and Orko did, so even if as a kid you thought the character wasn't that exciting to play with, but he would have that feature of moving around on his own, so kind of a bonus. But you don't have that here. You have the extra articulation. I think the head articulation is probably the best part here, that he can really look up and down a lot. You know, he's got pretty decent motion for having the very strange head, but I mean, there's no mouth or nose or anything. And anyway, he's just always just kind of the floating eyes in there, just the darkened and hidden by his scarf and hat kind of appearance. So I'm not really sure what their criteria is for this line anymore, because when you look at this, it's not recreating the original Orko at all. There's no function of the moving around, there's no removable hat. So they're doing their own reimagining here. They're not leaning too far toward the cartoon, but they're not leaning all the way for the cartoon either. It's a strange line they're walking, but so far it's mostly matching up for me just for what I want to be collecting now, just kind of, since I never had the originals, it kind of feeds that end, and then I mostly am looking to represent the cartoon, and so I missed out on all the ones that look exactly like the cartoon, but they are putting details here and there into this line that's leaning more towards cartoon, like Man-at-Arms with his mustache. So that's pretty cool that it's hitting a lot of criteria for me, but I'm not sure about other collectors, what they're really thinking about this. So let me know what you think of the Masters of the Universe Origins line so far. It's a little bit all over the place on what they're really trying to do, but I'm liking it so far, and I don't know what the future really holds, but if they did switch to, you know, redoing characters in different forms, I do kind of like this riding the line of original design with a few tweaks. So this will be pretty good for just representing, you know, in my collection, Masters of the Universe on a couple fronts, like the original toy line and the cartoon and all those little comics and things that they used to come with, and still come with. So I'm opening all my Masters of the Universe Origins here, so you can check out that playlist, and I open up all of my other collectible things here too. Maybe some things you want to just see and you don't collect, or things that you collect and you want to hear my take on it. Keep watching any one of those that you feel interested in, and I'll see you in the next video. Ooh, teeny! Oh wait, that's the wrong. My magic knows no limits. I do not like Psycho Orko. That is scary.